So let's take a look at the July 2024 Northeast Florida area realtors market stats. Northeast Florida area realtors in July of 2024, $369,000 was the median sales price. That's 2.5% more than what it was 12 months ago. 12 months ago was 360,000. This month was 369,000. Closed sales are down 2% from the previous July of 2023. But they're relatively flat, being fairly consistent. Mortgage rates has put pressure on the monthly payments, which is putting more pressure on folks to not be able to make a move. However, there are 2,300 closed sales that are happening every single month. So if we come down here, you can take a look at the pending sales. So this particular month was 1,700 pendings, meaning they went under contract, but they have not closed yet. So 1,700 versus the 2,300 closed sales. So it's off, but it's actually 29% off what it was last year in July. Last year in July was 2,500 and it's 1,700. So hopefully going forward with September mortgage rates reductions that are anticipated, this will allow more easing on people's monthly payments and start increasing the pending sales. The active inventory, we have to keep a real close watch on this, but the active inventory 12 months ago was 5,150. It's up, it's double. So 105% of what it was a year ago. So the inventory has doubled and is growing by more than 1,000 homes per month. 4,300 of the 10,000 came on the market last month. So people have been sitting on the sidelines and they're finally saying, hey, I'm going to sell my house. So 4,300, almost 40% of the houses that are active in inventory went on the market last month, and we're only absorbing less than 2,000 houses per month. So it's creating a challenge where the inventory is growing by between 1,000 and 2,000 houses per month every single month. So that's 10 to 20% more inventory every single month. So if you look at this statistic right here, this is just for Duval County. My market stats are for 6 counties, but just in one particular county, it shows that the sold listings were 1,260 in the month of July, and the actives were 4,700. So what that says is that for every one house that's selling, 3 houses aren't. So 1 out of 4 houses are selling right now. And that continues to grow. You can see the blue line is the active listings, and the gray line is the solds. And so that divide, it's getting larger. So if we take a look at the market stats for July of this year, and we go back 4 years, so keep an eye on this, right? $369,000 is the median sales price. It was $398,000. Excuse me. So July, if we go back to July of 2020, here we go. July of 2020, $284,000 versus $369,000 is what the median sales price was. 2,300 closed sales in July of 24 versus July of 2020 was 2,900 sales. So you can see that the more houses were sold back in July of 2020, and then your active inventory was around 4,000 houses in July of 2020, whereas it's 10,000 houses now. So the inventory is rising. There's less houses being sold, and the inventory is rising every single month, and that has to do with the pressure on interest rates. Again, interest rates have started to tick down in the last 10 days. They've come down almost a half a point, which is great news for the housing market. And we anticipate that come September and December, there's going to be additional easing in the Fed, lowering the Fed rate, which will indirectly impact the mortgage rates. You can see the housing inventory going back to 2016 was 8,100 houses. It got down to 1,700 houses because of the low interest rates. The government was buying mortgage-backed securities, which was artificially giving lower interest rates because the government was buying up mortgage-backed securities. It's now, like you saw in July, was over 10,000 houses. And you look at the interest rates over since 1975, and we got down into below 3%, which we probably will never see again. And now we're hovering around 6.5%. So let's shift our and the mortgage rates being 6.5% it has caused a major impact on the number of houses being sold. So let's take a look at what new construction is doing, the new construction, and what the economy in Jacksonville is doing. What this shows you is new home pending sales are down 15% year over year from the previous July. And what the valuation patterns, you see COVID happens right about here. And when COVID happens, the prices were already going up. But when COVID happens, there's supply chain issues. They have a hard time getting lumber and shingles and concrete and all kinds of things. And so you see this massive upswing in home prices was because of supply chain issues. And supply chain issues have come back down. So the prices have come back down for all the raw materials for building houses, but the prices haven't. Why is that? Because the income supported price, what this means is the builders, instead of reducing the price of their house, are throwing incentives at buyers. And so the number of homes that are being sold today are because of new construction homes are being sold today is because they're offering massive incentives like 2% rate buy downs. Well, if you reduce the interest rate, if you take a look at the average new construction house being 468,000, you put $100,000 down or 20% down, a 6.75% rate is $2387 for principal and interest. And if they offer a 2% rate buy down as a 4.75, it gets a buyer to $1,900. And so you're looking at a $500 difference in mortgage rates. And that's where the builders are offering incentives right now, is they're buying down the mortgage rate. So it's changed. The builders used to be about 15% of the entire market for Northeast Florida, and it's gone to 35%. It's more than doubled the number of homes being sold in Northeast Florida. Is the inventory of new construction is double what it was prior to COVID and prior to the buying the mortgage rates down. So supply snapshot, it's relatively not changed. The starts, meaning new homes being started versus the closings, that's relatively flat. New home sales are 8,200 new home sales versus the 22,000 total home sales. So that's 35% of homes being sold are new construction because of the massive incentives that the builders are offering. If you look at this is quarter by quarter for total housing inventory. So the housing inventory is up to 5.9 months supply. So if they didn't build another house, it would take almost 6 months for them to sell out. MOS is months supply. So there's 3 months supply, and under construction is almost 6 months supply. If you look at this quarter, the second quarter versus the previous second quarter, this blue area is finished vacant houses. That's inventory that's ready to go. So that's growing every single quarter. So you see this is the second quarter for 24, second quarter for 23, second quarter for 22. That you watch the light blue because it's growing. It's doubled since quarter two versus of 22 versus 24. The median closing price for new construction is $468,000 versus existing is $346,000. You'd think that new construction would be more expensive, but the gap between new construction average sale price and existing is growing. Zillow data shows 8,600 data. There's a little bit of a lag. I showed you 10,000 a little earlier. 10,000 is the real number, but this shows 8,600 houses in listings in Zillow from 30 days ago. It was 6,000 in 2020, and it's over 8,600 now. And it takes about 60 days to go to pending. 60 days to get a house under contract to go to pending. This shows the overall jobs market versus unemployment. You can see that this is COVID, and a lot of folks lost their jobs temporarily. And the blue, so that's the purple line, the purple bar. The blue line shows unemployment rate for Northeast Florida. So in Northeast Florida, the unemployment is down to 2.5%. So we have a healthy economy and healthy jobs, a lot of diversification in the jobs. This is good news for Northeast Florida. Is roughly 2.5%. But if you look at the annual job growth, we grew in 21 and 22, but you can see that because of what's going on in the economy, the number of job growth has been declining. They're looking at projected for 24, 25, and 26 as growth in those areas. Household growth is about 1.7%. On an annual basis is what we grew, and they anticipate that growing at the same rate, for 2025 and 2026 of about the 1.5 to 1.7%. And the overall market health, single family households, there's 680, there's 709,000 jobs, and they anticipate that within 2 years there's going to be 828,000. So roughly that total jobs growth was 2.5% over the last year. They anticipate it's going to be around the 1.5 to 1.8%. Households will grow from 684 to 719. Jacksonville has been the number one net new migration trends for 22 and for 2023. So there's more people moving here than moving out in the whole country. So and that has a lot to do with the jobs, the housing markets being affordable, and so on. So I hope you've enjoyed this July 2024 market update, and stay tuned for mid-month of August, and of September, and we'll be back at the same time mid-month to be able to share with you the market stats from the August report. Take care. We'll see you soon.